We're gonna see how an American does in a Norwegian roundabout.
Longest underwater road tunnel in the world. It's window washed.
Oh, like they got a waterfall above us? What's going on? All right, so one of the interesting things in Europe is the contradiction when it comes to safety and control. All right, you join me at the Circle K, but not just any Circle K. This is one in Norway. And today I am going to be roaming Norway with Roaming Norway.
Hello.
Welcome to this episode, this special edition of Bow Family EV, Roaming Norway, Out of Spec Bits. We're all coming together for the ultimate collaboration here in Norway, where we are gonna check out different EVs that I don't get to see in America. We're gonna check out some charging infrastructure and how it's different here. Behind us, we've already got a Volkswagen. You might have seen a ID Buzz coming out just a minute ago. But what I'm really excited about is something I've never been able to drive in, which is the Zeekr X7. X7?
7X.
7X. Things are reversed. It's the metric system. I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out by the end of this journey though. And then behind us, we've got the Alpatronic HYC 400s. This is something that we do have in the States, but William's gonna tell us more about how the different charging cables impact the charging speeds. We're gonna talk about how amazing this Zeekr will charge. There's gonna be a lot to learn here. Can't wait to show you.
Okay, now it's time to charge the Zeekr 7X here at this Alpatronic Hyper 400 charger. And I just want to explain the cables first, because the cables are all different on these Alpatronic units. These ones have the Amphenol cables, which are rated at 300 amps plus a random boost that I never figure out. These ones are the Phoenix Phoenix Contact HPC cables, which have a 375 amp nominal rating and then a better boost. So this is our best bet to charge the Zeekr 7X. This one is branded as a 400 kilowatt charger. This one is also branded as a 400 kilowatt charger, but as we see, the cables do actually matter. So what we are going to do to charge the Zeekr 7X here is to open the electronic charge port. I've removed the things that are usually here, and we are just going to start by plugging in the car. And we have cable management.
They got this great design where it'll kind of pull out there really nice. Love how Alpatronic does that.
And the first thing we will do is to plug it in. There we go. And once we plug in the car, there we go. It shows up here once I just plug in. So I just start the charger here and see if it works. Then we can take a look around and look at the screen, because the screens on the Alpatronics are amazing for showing information. So the maximum charging rate that's advertised on this car is 360 kilowatts in Europe, just so you know. That's the advertised maximum. But we might get a little bit more, and I will show you once we get in here. Right up to 375 kilowatts here at 22%. Of course, we are not in the bottom of the pack. This car likes to charge at around 10%. You should plug it in. If you go lower, there are a few issues, not issues, but it's a little bit slower. But here we go. So we will see what kind of charging curve we get there. But right now it's looking pretty great at around 370 kilowatts. Here at 25%, and you can see that it dips a little bit up and down, and that's just how this car works.
That's just incredible. That's just a different thing that you guys are used to in Europe, where you have these ripping speeds from these Chinese batteries, from the German, the Porsche, those kind of things of the world.
Yeah, of course. The Taycan is amazing as well, and we have had that for quite a while. This one is even more amazing, I would say. The charging on this one is just absolutely insane. So we are already at 28% here. You can just see that it just holds the curve pretty nicely, and the average charging speed should be pretty good for this charge.
Yeah, it'll be great to check out the curve and where it drops off and how that goes. I noticed, how much weight there is to these cables, and this is the standard all throughout Europe. For those that don't know, explain that, because now you've been to America, you've tried the Tesla superchargers, which obviously don't rip like this at all. not just the vehicles, but the chargers themselves. But what's it like comparing the two? Because here in Europe, they're all like this, even the Teslas, right?
The Teslas are a little bit thicker, but you have the thinner cables on Teslas as well, the version 3s. But the new version 4 pedestals, they have a little bit thicker cables, and the CCS2 cables here are thicker because they are longer. So yeah, it's pretty heavy to plug in, and you have the CCS2 connector as well, which is a little bit difficult to plug in, but I think it's better than the CCS1 connector in the US. But I still think Tesla's NACS is pretty great in the US. Yeah.
So the first time you picked up a Tesla NACS and felt it and plugged it in,
yeah,
how crazy did that feel?
That felt really crazy because it's so small and so nice. And it's Tesla, before they use CCS2 in Europe, they use something called mid-DC. And even that one is thicker than the NACS one. So I was mind blown when I plugged in at the Tesla supercharger.
So let's check out where we are.
Okay, we're down to 280 kilowatts now at 37%. We have been charging for 2 minutes and 50 seconds, adding 15 kilowatt hours so far. So here you can see the curve. It's of course, it's always difficult to know what causes the different charging profiles for this car, because you have different cables, you have different chargers. And for example, this car doesn't really like ABB chargers, and it's always difficult to find out. But one thing is for sure, and that's regardless of where you're charging this car, you're just staying there for a few minutes and you're on your way regardless.
And I think that's the key, is you're like, oh, look, it's dropped down to only 280. And I've never seen a 280 in my entire life on any car.
And it's
anywhere.
silent.
And it is silent. The superchargers, they ramp up. You can hear them spool. You can hear them ripping and making a lot of noise. It's like the V8 engine of chargers. And this one is much more in line with the electric vehicles.
Oh, up to 330
Oh,
again.
it jumped. It jumped. It hurt us. It hurt us talking about it. And it's like, oh yeah, I'll show you. Check this out.
So that's the nice thing about this car. It will request whatever is possible. It's not like a Tesla that will always drop off. It won't ever increase in charging speed unless you are at version 2 and the person at the side of you just leaves. Oh, that's the EX90. That's a nice one.
The EX90. We've seen a lot of Volvos, the EX30, EX40, EX90, lots of them. Something else I've noticed about Europe where, that's pretty loud, motorcycles. All right, love it. You guys still love wagons. You still love wagons and hatches, and I've seen a ton of them here.
Tons of wagons, and now we get electric wagons, which is really cool. The ID.7 Tourer, the BMW i5, and yeah, it's awesome. I love wagons. I think it's a good solution if you want more space. So far, we have been charging for 5 minutes, and in 5 minutes, we have added 27 kilowatt hours, and we have gone from 22 to 50% in around 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I think that's a real key. If we can get vehicles that do this regularly and the infrastructure to support it, it's going to really give us a step change in terms of the adoption of electric vehicles. And you can see how much Norway has gone with over 90% of the new cars sold here are electric, and it really shows up everywhere I go. I'm seeing them.
So these Circle K chargers are at almost every Circle K in Norway right now, which is nice. So you can go look for a Circle K and you know there will most likely be a charger there. And other gas stations are also implementing charging because they see a drop in revenue from the gas pumps. And you can see the gas pumps here. I would say that this is the most gas pumps at a Norwegian gas station I've ever seen. So this should be the maximum amount of gas pumps you can expect to see in Norway. But you will always have charging options at most gas stations right now.
And here in Norway, even though you're a big oil producing country, like where we are now, it produces a lot of oil.
Yeah, you're in Stavanger. It's the oil capital of Norway.
But you guys are using hydroelectric and have really cheap energy, right?
Yeah, pretty cheap energy and hydropower to make the energy for Norway, for sure. This is hydropower.
Still ripping at 234 or 232. Nothing to be ashamed of there.
It's okay.
It's not bad.
Not bad, for sure. And the car is completely silent. The charger is also silent, which is interesting.
Do you want to do a walkthrough of the 7X at all, or?
Yeah, we can do a walkthrough.
Okay. So let's take a look around the 7X. William, tell us what you like about it. It was the first time that I've gotten to ride in one, but I did check it out at the showroom in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
So that video's already been up. Check that out. The showroom experience, but to actually driving it, you were talking about comparing it to your Tesla and the cobblestone and brick roads that are all over Norway. Tell me what you like about it. Tell me about the inside.
So first of all, the interior is amazing. It's just amazing materials all over. You have this Alcantara, kind of like fake leather Alcantara blend here. You have the speaker grill, everything. The materials are so nice in this car, and the ride is amazing as well. We drove over some cobblestone, and it felt pretty nice, I would say, and much, much better than, for example, a Tesla Model Y, which I like to compare this car to, because many people have tried the Model Y, so it's easy to compare. Tons of space. I would say I'm 176 centimeters. I don't know what that is. 5'8", 5'9".
I'm going to go with that. I don't know the metric system.
I don't know. Tons of space here. In the rear, we have a tons of space. If we can open this one. Good amount of storage everywhere. So it's like a practical, comfortable cruiser, I would say.
And it's got the center pass-through.
Yeah, for skis.
Which is so Norwegian that it's got for the skis.
Yeah.
So much authenticity in that, because that's actually how it would be used.
Yeah.
I've seen parts of the ski slopes. Obviously, it's not winter time, so we're not seeing the snow. But I actually saw in the middle of a neighborhood was a practice ski jump.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of houses.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing thing to see. So Norwegians definitely known for their skiing.
Yeah.
I noticed this too when I was in the showroom. I noticed this sub-trunk area. It was holding like a that would go up to the top, I guess.
Yeah, the partial shelf.
I had not seen that done before, so that was interesting.
And this is the top spec model, so we have air suspension, and you can adjust the air suspension from the rear here to actually increase and decrease the loading height, which is interesting with buttons there. Something that's very interesting about the European spec Zeekr 7X is that you don't get automatic seat folding, and there are small features that are removed from the rear seats that's available in China, because in China cars are often engineered for the back seat experience. Here it's much less so. So it's actually missing one thing over the Model Y Juniper, and that's the automatic folding of the rear seats.
Yeah, when I was in Amsterdam, that must have been a Chinese spec, because it had the handle that you pulled to put the seats down.
Okay, so you had like automatic seats?
It just to fold down, but not to come back up.
Okay,
And then it did have some adjustments on the seat to make it recline.
Yeah, you can recline the rear seats there, actually.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. So that's nice. That's very cool and
then does this have the tow hitch?
Yes, it has.
That kind of flips out, right?
Yeah, not on this car, but it has a fully electronic tow hitch that you can option with 2,000 kilograms, which is quite nice for European trailers. Yeah, they really thought out this one for the European market with the tow hook and everything. Yeah.
And I noticed that everywhere I went, there were caravans, RVs, people towing, and they weren't towing big, huge trucks like we do in America.
No.
They were towing in their hatchbacks. They were towing in their wagons. Yeah. And they all had these same like different looking tow hitches too. I'm sure you've noticed in America are different than the tow hitches
very
here.
Different. Yeah. So everyone in Norway tows, but they don't tow that large trailers and stuff and boats like in the US. Of course, there are some people towing boats as well, but everyone kind of has their small little trailer. That's very in.
Let's check on the progress here.
Okay, we are at 80%.
200.
I think we are good to go.
219 kilowatts at 80%, guys. For reference, my Lightning at this point will drop down to like 55 kilowatts when we hit 80%.
And we have been there for 14 minutes, so 22 to 82% in 14 minutes.
This is awesome.
Here you can see the entire curve. I think I'll stop the charging now. We have more than enough energy, so just take a look at the final statistics here. So we charge from 22 to 82% in around 14 minutes. And the average charging speed has been 270 kilowatts. That includes the ramp and the down ramp right now. Now it's ramping a little bit down. And this is very typical for this car. It will actually ramp up a little bit at the end, which is interesting. Yeah, I would say a pretty good charging curve.
Well, I think we have enough to get going. Let's hit the road and let's start roaming Norway. All right, so I'm gonna throw my backpack back here. Shout out Ford for the hookup on the backpack. What is different about this higher spec Zeekr than I saw in the Amsterdam showroom is these doors are automated, like the 001 was that Kyle and I were driving. So you can hit that button, and then that door will close itself. And then you press that same button again, almost Mach-E style, only this one will open the door. As we go inside, I want to hear from William, because you've been driving this around. Total, what, 14 hours?
Yep,
And
7 hours in this car.
7 hours in this car. So thank you for coming to get me. This is amazing. Tell me about what you've liked and your impressions on the interior, because this is really a nice spec vehicle.
Okay, first of all, I want to mention the pet mode. That's the best thing about this car. Every car should have pet mode. Let's jump further. And this car is just so nice to sit in. You have massaging seats. They are also heated and ventilated. And you have great driver assistance system that works better than autopilot in Europe, which is kind of embarrassing for Tesla, I would say. So together you have fast charging, you have the amazing driver assistant, and you have just a comfort luxury cruiser. It's just such an amazing car, and it's a little bit more expensive than, for example, a Model Y in Norway, but not by very much. And when you have like air suspension and you have a ton of features like the fast charging and everything that the Model Y doesn't have, it's really competitive.
The other thing I noticed about all of these cars in Europe is you guys take your cables with you. And I saw that all over Amsterdam, and I've seen it all over Norway, where you can just drive up and plug in.
Yep.
And so this then has space in the front, I guess, for throwing the cables in?
Yeah, right now it's in the rear there. But yeah, you have your Type 2 cable that you use for, people use it for home charging, but also for like work charging and public AC charging, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I don't think we're gonna need that today, so let's hit the road and let's get this thing started. All right, so in the spirit of international outreach, William has brought me candy and soda, which I don't need, but I appreciate. I am working on less of that, but I'm going to splurge today. He has brought me some of this Urge soda, and wanted to point out one of the unique things in Norway and really in Europe that I've seen. Same thing in Amsterdam. These caps are interesting. As we take the cap off of here, in the US, you just pull the cap off. Here, it makes sense, I guess, because you flip the cap and it stays attached. And so that's interesting, because then you don't have litter or stuff on the ground that you're losing. But it makes it really awkward to drink, because it's kind of in the way.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
So you think it sucks too? This isn't just like this American guy.
No, and it's kind of new as well. Maybe 1 year ago or something, it happened.
So
and yeah.
I just wanted to share that piece of cultural observation that I've definitely noticed as I've tried the different beverages around Europe and Norway.
This is Kit Kats, just better.
Very nice. We're going to try that out too. Let's check out the motorway. There are not many motorways in Norway because the roads are so curvy and they go through all these small towns and villages.
Yep.
But as we flip around, here we are on one of the motorways. And what is I got to convert to kilometers, I guess, because you're doing, I don't know if I should say what you're doing.
Yeah, let's
in Mexico.
We are in Mexico.
We're in Mexico, the Mexican motorway. Shout out Volvo. Oh, that's a gas one. Go away, gas one.
There are some EVs up here.
So what's the speed here on the motorways in Norway?
The speed limit here is 90 kilometers per hour, so 60 something, 60.
Okay,
right.
so similar.
But this one is 90, is 50, 60 something miles per hour, I don't know. But this motorway is kind of slow because it's through the city. Usually you are at around almost 70 miles per hour for the speed limit, and people drive up to 80 miles per hour, I would say, on the straightest roads in Norway. But it's important to note that we have like 300-400 miles of stretch, and that's it for the roads like that. So it's kind of
my trip from the Bay Area to LA is similar to your longest stretch of road.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the Fiat 500. You got the
Yeah.
Tesla Model 3 in front of us.
Yep.
And then
A Nissan Leaf, and
I was surprised how many Nissan Leafs I've seen out here.
yeah, it's the most common car on Norwegian roads, aside from the Model Y. The Model Y just passed it. Yeah.
My first stop off the cruise ship, there was a Nissan Leaf charging at a Chempower station with Chatamo. So you
tons of Chatamo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, here's something cool. That's like learning to drive car, school car.
This orange one?
Yeah. So.
And above is in front of that is another Nissan Leaf.
Probably. Or and a Mercedes EQB or something.
Oh, yeah. EQB.
Yeah. But that's a school car, so he's
learning to drive. School.
Yeah.
It says school right behind it.
Yep. So
now you can tell because it says school or because it's got the all orange?
School. The school.
Okay, I didn't know if that wrap was...
That means it's a professional driving school.
Got it.
Yeah.
Check it out.
So someone's learning how to drive in a Tesla. That's very common in Norway, actually. So many people growing up in Norway right now will never drive a gas or even a hybrid.
Now, what do you guys think about full self-driving? Because in America, it's kind of the hot buzz on X-Twitter, right? But out here, I've seen you post about autopilot, and I don't think you have FSD out here at all.
A very dumbed down word. No, we don't. It's basically autopilot with lane changes for us right now.
And you haven't much enjoyed the autopilot, it sounds like.
No, autopilot has so many map issues in Europe in general, and people are complaining about it. And I think it's just a shame that Tesla won't use a few hours to just update the map data or figure something out to make a competent driver assistance system that works on the highway and some B-roads, of course. But in general, it's okay for some stretches, I would say, and it's nice to have. But after trying this Zeekr, it kind of has like a better driver assistance system for Norway, which is a shame for Tesla, I would say. And of course, they are waiting for FSD regulation stuff, and that sucks, of course. But I think they should just have a competent lane holding system regardless.
Yeah, and hopefully that competition will kind of put it to Tesla, because Tesla, what I find is when somebody kind of outperforms them in some way, they take it personal, and they tend to react and really make some big improvements. So hopefully that will spur that on. Let's flip around and see where are we going here. This looks really cool. There's quite a few chargers. This is something that I have not seen before.
We don't need to charge, but I'll block the broken charger here in case 15 people show up.
Which could happen, potentially. If any place it's going to happen, it's going to happen here.
Yeah. So let's take a tour of this site.
Yeah, let's check it out. Once again, by the way, at a Circle K, it seems.
Yeah.
So Circle K has a couple different types of chargers they're using, it sounds like.
Yeah, they also have partnerships with Tesla and Ionity. So on a lot of Circle K sites, you will find Circle K chargers, of course, but also they have partnerships with Ionity and Tesla in some cases. And this is like an automatic station, so no persons there. So you just fill gas or wash your car or everything else there, and you can use.
Yeah, there's a car wash right there. There's your gas pumps.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's check out the Ionity here and take a poke around. All right, we are here at a very unique charging site because there are 3 different ways of charging here and 2 different types of chargers. So tell us about this.
First of all, we have the ABB units that Ionity started using a couple of years ago, I would say, where you have these satellites and then you have the chargers in the rear there, and they are one-to-one. So some people think that this could have been an all-in-one unit regardless, because they're one-to-one to the cabinets. There is no like power sharing stuff going on. But these are 350 kilowatts and they have a good 500 amp cable, so you can get 350 kilowatts on these ones. And there are many of them. I think we have 12 here and they are numbered. And you have Ionity with amazing pricing. Right now, if you have the Ionity Pass, it's 3 kroners per kilowatt hours, like $0.29 US per kilowatt hour or something on these ones, 350 kilowatts.
And the advantage to these is going to be that you could have a full line of cars going full rip on all of them. The disadvantage being the size is pretty large. The cost is going to be pretty large because you've got all of these cabinets are one-to-one compared to, say, a Kempower, where the satellites are much smaller, and it's going to load split depending on how many are connected.
Yeah.
So that's the trade-off?
Yeah, that's the trade-off. But when they put in 12, I think, and plus these Alpitronic units we will take a look at, you have so many chargers that like you will always find a place to charge, which is nice.
Yeah, well, let's check a look at the Alpitronics, because they're doing it 2 different ways depending on the cabinet.
Yeah, so Ionity started using Alpitronic last year, I think. They are always testing different hardware. Ionity was the first 350 kilowatt chargers in Europe. So Ionity has really been pushing forward lately. They had a period where I think there was some trouble in the leadership or something, stuff kind of stagnated. But now they are full in backswing. This is a pretty new site. And here we have our HYC 400. It's unfortunately 4-split, and I've checked. Usually this doesn't necessarily mean 4-split on Ionity, but in this case it is. I've checked in the app. But you have 200 kilowatts, 200 kilowatts, and the same for those 2 units down here. And the one in the end down there, you can get 400 kilowatts because it's not 4-split. So they have a different configuration, which is kind of strange, but it's all available in the Ionity app to see what kind of charging speed you can get at the different ports. What I like about Ionity is the clear markings of the ports that you use, so you can use the Ionity app. But Ionity also have plug-in charge on a lot of cars, so you can just plug in the car. So yeah, you can pay with the QR code. I don't see card readers on this specific unit, but I see all the ABB units have card readers. That's legally mandated in Norway to have card readers. And we have 1 broken ABB unit here, I can see. But aside from that, everything works nicely. I charged here last night, so great site.
Local tips from the local expert. Let's keep roaming Norway. All right, so one of the interesting things in Europe is the contradiction when it comes to safety and control. So I noticed as I was going from Amsterdam and throughout Norway that people are riding bikes everywhere with no helmets at all, which would be like unheard of in the United States. And there are people like riding on handlebars and on people's laps, all kinds of crazy stuff. People are smoking everywhere. They love to smoke in Europe. Everywhere I go, people are smoking. There are no regulations with like traffic patterns. There are just bikes ripping through everywhere, and you just have to know that the bikes have the right of way, and there are trucks zipping around, and there are these little avenues that people are walking, and they look like kind of like alleyways. You know, it's like Harry Potter, Diagon Alley. You're and then all of a sudden here comes a car down it out of nowhere. And so there's just like no regard for safety. But then in other ways, the food is very regulated. The drinks taste different because they use beet sugar and not cane sugar, and they don't use any of the high fructose corn syrup. The meat has a leaner meat to it. So there's definitely some things on the food side, which makes sense because that's, you know, your nutrition in your life. But then there are petty little things, like in the Zeekr and in other cars, where William has to go through every time we get inside and reset all of the alerts. Tell me about the alerts, and is there any way around that to get it to save with the driver profile or anything like that?
No, you have to disable all the alerts once you start the trip, every drive cycle. So that's the speed limit warning and a few other things. There are some cars like the Tesla where you can install like the Sexy Commander and you can disable it permanently, which is nice, but that's not possible in the Zeekr, so you have to deal with it. But you have like a quick menu here, at least.
So pretty much all the beeps and bongs and alerts and chimes, if you want to reset them, you got to do it each time you get in on the menu, unless you have the Tesla with the sexy buttons.
Correct, and that's for all new cars, model year 2024 and newer, I think, yeah.
So no to bicycle helmets, but absolutely you need to hear the chimes. So we're pulling into another charging stop to check out what we have. We're passing Skodas. We're lots of Skodas here.
Okay, so this is a typical shopping mall charging site, I would say. So here we have lower powered options. Of course, this is a little bit of an older site, so we have older hardware. We can start over here by the Delta units, which are, you can see something about them that you notice, and that's...
This cable management system is pretty crazy. Oh, Chatamo.
CHAdeMO on all the chargers almost.
But
and it's these two and those over there.
That makes sense though, because look, we've got two Nissan Leaf right here.
Yep. So the Nissan Leaf is extremely popular in Norway. It still is quite popular. So we need CHAdeMO on most options. And these are 150 kilowatt units, and they are, they are split. So we can park on either side, and then you get 75 kilowatts on each side, which you might think, oh, that's too slow. But this is a shopping mall. 75 kilowatts, maybe not too bad actually.
So it makes sense, because if it charged at the speed that we saw earlier and you're in there doing shopping, it's going to be done way before you even get to the register.
Exactly. So over here we have slower chargers. These are all 50 kilowatt units, and we have two different units here. And the ones over here, we can go over to the one over here. This one is actually an Alpitronic.
Oh, this one, oh, nice.
It's a HYC 50, which I think is awesome. I love the HYC 50 for like shopping mall or cinema, or maybe where you are 2-3 hours maybe instead of putting high power charging everywhere.
That makes a lot of sense. I've only seen these at like ACT Expo and some of the shows. I've never seen one in the wild, so that is great.
And they have card readers, which is amazing. These are, I'm actually not sure what kind of units these are, but these are very old. Some of the first chargers installed in Norway. You can see a spider there on the charger, and you also have these older CHAdeMO cables, which feel ancient, but at least you have 50 kilowatt charging here at the shopping mall. And something also cool is that you have AC charging up to 22 kilowatts if you have an onboard charger that can support it. Like the Zeekr 7X, they installed the correct onboard charger in Europe for the Zeekr 7X. So we could actually get 22 kilowatts of AC charging from this one, which is interesting.
And I'll say, to point this out for those in the US that don't know, one of the big things here in Norway and really all of Europe is you guys are using, is it 240? I know it's over 200 volts.
It's 240, but this is 400 volt three-phase. So it's not 400 volt, but you know how the three-phase calculations work. So that's the way you can get up to 22 kilowatts.
Yeah, and the closest I really see to this would be like the F-150 Lightning and the Lucid and the old Model S that in the US could charge.
The dual charger.
The dual charger, where you've got the 80 amps. And those things are really cool for home, but you really can't charge anywhere else like that.
Yeah, so we have, this is how public chargers, like curbside chargers and stuff, look in Norway. It's bring your own cable, Type 2 cable. You plug it in here. You scan your RFID, or you can also pay via an app. These usually don't have card readers. They are not required to have card readers. They're so small, but that way you can charge.
This is the type of stuff we really need. You can see the full spectrum of infrastructure here, and you can see how it makes more sense when we were coming off the motorway. We're coming off the motorway, it made a lot more sense to have that high power HYC 400 charging here at the shopping center. You can see that you've got a lot of options depending on what you're driving. And then of course that curbside charging. So useful in so many places. And that's when your whole infrastructure is set up to be successful, makes the adoption of EVs so much easier. All right, let's hit the road and let's keep roaming Norway. So as we're leaving, we can see here comes a BMW i3. We got a couple Volkswagens over here. Coming in here is a BYD. I mean, this is just an EV owner's paradise. There is, I don't know if that's I saw a bunch of Kia Souls that were EVs as well. I don't know if that's
all the Kia Souls in Norway are electric, battery electric, for sure.
That's just amazing.
And you have a Skoda Enyaq over there, very, very popular in Norway. So yeah,
there's a Nissan Aria or Araya, as Out of Spec Dave would call it. The Araya is here.
Araya. E-Golf, extremely popular. Another Skoda Enyaq over there. And yeah, a bunch of BYDs and stuff around. A bunch of i3s. I see so many i3s around, which is cool.
I think I've seen a lot of i3s, a lot of Nissan Leafs. I've seen a lot of the VW Buzz. I've seen a lot of those around.
The Buzz is extremely popular.
And the e-Golf is another one. Again, right as soon as I got off the boat, there was an e-Golf.
That's an ID.5.
ID.5, nice. We do not have those. And I've also seen an ID.3. going around, which is a great.
Right there.
Oh, there it is. There
Yeah.
it is. The ID3. Speaking of which, I mean, it's just amazing. I've seen more diverse EVs in 5 minutes here than I will see all day. And keep in mind, I'm in the Bay Area. So I've got Tesla, Lucid, Rivians, but we just don't have this diversity here. There's a Volvo X40 over there.
Yeah, XC40. That one comes in hybrid as well, but no hybrids in Norway, just battery electric.
Absolutely amazing. All right, let's hit the road. So I noticed when I was in Amsterdam and I got to check out the Zeekr X that the back space, the back seat space wasn't great, and my feet were kind of up in my chest a little bit compared to this one and some others. You were telling me that shares a platform with which one?
The EX30.
From
the Volvo EX30, yeah.
So that seems to be a common thing there. So Volvo is sharing a platform with Zeekr, and then there are, Ford. I just saw the Ford Explorer when I was at my last stop, and that one shares a platform with Volkswagen.
Yeah, the MEB platform.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then so that seems to be also the Puma. Is that sharing a platform?
It's built on the combustion Puma platform.
Okay.
It's front wheel drive and stuff. It's not the MEB platform actually, but it uses the combustion Puma platform, if I'm not mistaken. I actually drove the Puma a few days ago, and yeah, it's front wheel drive. I'm pretty sure it's front wheel drive, and all the MEB cars are rear wheel drive. First, yeah.
The other thing I want to shout out real quick here, the Jaguar I-Pace. I've seen a couple of these, and I'll tell you that in the States, we really only see them for Waymo. And so they don't look bad at all when you see them painted something other than Waymo white with all the gear on top.
Yeah, it's so different, yeah. I saw one with a roof tent, and I posted a joke on X that it was a Waymo because it kind of looked like a Waymo with the roof tent.
I'm flipping the camera too crazy here.
Oh,
the classic
electric wagon, if you want to see.
What do we got up there?
The A6 e-tron.
A6 e-tron, yeah, and this is what we were talking about, where the wagons and the hatches are still big here in Norway. Also big, these tunnels, by the way, lots of tunnels in Norway.
Oh, we will see some tunnels very soon. I'll promise you that. That's an A6 e-tron. Looks amazing, actually, in black.
It really does. I'm a big fan of black. My Lightning is all black. Yeah, that e-tron looks great.
Yeah. Great car as well, I've heard. Just the charge port is kind of stupid on it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened in the U.S. where the wagons and the hatches have kind of lost favor, and they've all kind of gone to these very kind of, to me, bland SUV, compact SUV. Everything's called an SUV. The Mach-E is called an SUV, and Model Y is called an SUV. They're not. What are we doing?
Crossovers.
So I love to see the personality of the vehicles out here in Europe and Norway. And maybe it's just, maybe it's just because I'm so used to seeing the same things. So I come out here and everything's fascinating. You just came back from the US and you did the out of spec video out there when they moved to the new track. That was awesome, by the way.
Yeah. Awesome experience, for sure.
Shout out to that. Check out that video, guys, if you haven't yet. But do you ever experience that in the US where you're used to what you're seeing here? Do you get to the US and are you fascinated by the cars? Or no, it's everything?
I'm fascinated by the cars in the US. You get the Acuras, you have the Nissan Altima, the legendary Nissan Altima, which we don't get here.
Right.
But it's always, for me, it's exciting to see something different. Regardless of how mundane and boring the Nissan Altima is, it's something different. So I think it's interesting to see in another country. I think the most... for me, when traveling, I like to see like a diversity of different. I like that about Norway now is that we have so many different EVs, so we can see something different every time, which is nice.
Now, have you had the experience of the legendary VinFast?
No, I haven't.
I'm
still waiting to try one of those.
So we got to go visit Francie. We've got to get William to get some VinFast time, because that finally we can get a vehicle that he doesn't get to experience out here. And we'll have to make that happen. All right, William, so Norway is famous for the fjords, but what they are also plentiful of is tunnels. Now, this is a special tunnel. This is the longest, deepest tunnel in the world?
It's the longest underwater road tunnel in the world, and it's the deepest tunnel of any kind, I think.
So you can see here where we're going through these different islands and these different underwater areas. And I imagine this also helps in the winter with traveling through.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to do anything in the winter, which is awesome. When you have a bridge, you have a lot of maintenance in the winter, of course, and bridges can have other issues with ships passing and stuff. Underwater tunnels are an amazing solution. And in this area, they are building another underwater tunnel actually in the north of Stavanger, which will be finished in a couple of years, maybe a little bit more than that. And that will exceed this one and be an even longer underwater tunnel. But this is currently, as it stands today, once we enter the actual tunnel in a few minutes, is the longest underwater road tunnel in the world.
And when I was over in Molde, am I saying that one right?
Molde, yeah.
Molde, so much better. Leave it to an American to butcher the language. Noticed lots of tunnels there and quite a few bridges. They have what's the Atlantic Road.
Yeah.
And so there's just so many different ways that they've taken nature here and worked with it instead of fighting against it. And so it's really great to see these different things that you guys have done out here.
It's Norwegian and European engineering. It's like tunnels and stuff. That's what we are good at. Norway has a long history in subsea construction with the oil platforms and stuff. So they use that expertise to build. Here we're entering the tunnel.
Here we go.
It's 14 kilometers and it's super deep under the sea.
The water mist. What do you think that was?
That's his window washer.
Oh, like they got a waterfall above us? What's going on? It'd be rough if somebody broke down here. You have to get a tow truck in here, pull them out of here.
They close the entire tunnel, and then you will miss your cruise.
Yeah.
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
But then again, it's a small enough country.
Yeah.
I will. Although no, this is the last stop, so no, I would be in trouble.
Yep.
I'd have to get back to Amsterdam.
We can drive down. No problem.
All right. We have made our way through the longest, deepest tunnel in the world. Yeah, I mean, even though 90% are, plus are being bought as electric,
yeah,
there's still a huge number of combustion cars that will have to kind of reach their end of life. And I'm sure it'll take a couple decades to really get through them all.
Yeah, we 1/3 of the cars on the road today are electric. 1/3. For Oslo and Bergen, the two largest cities, it's closer to 50% of
Well, that's
the cars
impressive.
currently today on the road. And they are being changed out. So.
All right, so when I was in Amsterdam, I could see the Zeekr, but I could not drive the Zeekr. So now William is putting his life on the line in the name of science. And I am going to personally get to drive the Zeekr on the roads of Norway. I'm going to try to not end up at The Hague or any other international court. So fingers crossed, let's hit the road and let's see what an American does in Norway on these roads. At least they drive on the correct side of the street. Not calling anyone out, England, but let's get going.
Let's go.
So I think as we're driving back through the tunnel, heading back to the cruise ship area, I just had a moment to kind of experience the Zeekr. It's quick, it's fast. I had to move myself over to the right-hand lane to slow down because I was at an undisclosed speed that we will not talk about, but it's really easy in the Zeekr to get yourself up to a triple-digit number in theory. I'm not saying I did that.
Yeah, in Mexico.
In Mexico, absolutely. And I really had to force myself to stay to the right and get myself to slow down a bit. These roads are so open, and it's really more power, more speed, I would say, than you would need around Norway. But it drives nice. It's super comfortable. The heads-up display is really nice. That's not something that I have in the Lightning, and the Teslas don't have the heads-up display. And I think it's really fun to be able to look at that and see that you have something directly in front of you. You're not having to look just down here for your navigation and for your information. So that is nice to have. I think that would be something cool that I'd love to see in more vehicles as an option. The other thing, which oddly for me, I appreciate the real rear view mirror that's actual glass. My eyes, for whatever reason, when they're a camera version, it doesn't quite focus right. I like to be able to just glance up real quick and glance back down. Let me know what you think, because a lot of places, the Cybertruck, for example, you have to look on the screen. Some people have replaced it with a camera version. There's a lot of cars that do have, even the GM has it in the Bolt EUV. Those things have cameras as rear view mirrors. So some people love them. Let me know what you think. I don't prefer them. I like to have the real glass. And then there are the frameless side mirrors, which is kind of cool. I'd love to see those ultimately become camera options as well. But I know in the US and apparently in Europe, these aren't allowed, right? Not these, but the camera versions would not be.
You can have camera mirrors in Europe, actually. You can have them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there cars that have them? I have not seen any yet, but is there?
The e-tron.
The e-tron.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's really cool to kind of see these things. I'd love to check out an e-tron too. You said the e-tron was super popular.
Yeah, at least a few years ago. Sold crazy amounts in Norway.
But this car is super smooth. Obviously, it has the air suspension, so it's got that advantage over cars that don't. And this would, I think you were saying this would be kind of like an Audi Spec. This isn't going to be like your base level EV in Norway.
Correct, yeah.
So yeah, this is a lot of fun. I love doing it, and it's really exciting to get to drive through these tunnel areas. This is a really unique tunnel that we're in here. They do different lighting effects along the way, and so this is definitely a unique experience. It's definitely more fun than being on a tour bus when you can literally drive through Norway personally. So thanks for letting me do this, William. This has been a lot of fun.
No worries.
Let's.
It's been awesome.
Yeah. This is great stuff, guys. So hopefully you're getting to experience some of what I have on this journey. Let's continue to roam on as we go through Norway. So we're gonna see how an American does in a Norwegian roundabout. This can't possibly go wrong, can it? we're gonna see as we exit this tunnel, one of the many beautiful tunnels here. We are going to attempt to stay to the left. I guess this is a yield.
Yes.
So we are gonna yield. Shout out ID3 over there. And we're gonna flip around, try not to kill William, and as my bag slides, and yeah, oh look at that!
Yeah,
handling,
perfect execution.
Handling like a champ. Check that out, guys. An American doing just fine.
And then to the right in the next roundabout here.
All right. Do I need to be in that right lane?
Yeah, here.
Okay, here we go. We're gonna see how long William can tolerate this before I make him sick. Hey, if I can survive Kyle in a 001,
I think this will be fine for sure.
This will be good.
Yes.
2 Zeekrs, 2 different methods of driving for sure.
And then to the left in this roundabout.
This is not as curvy a road as we did in the 001 around the Bay Area with Kyle, that's for sure. And
you are doing amazingly well. No problem.
Even better than FSD, I would say.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
And then in the next roundabout, it's straight through the roundabout.
You guys love your roundabout. We got an ID Buzz coming up here.
Yep.
Check that out. Love seeing the buzzes out here. Green license plate, so that's going to be probably commercial. You said it doesn't have back seats.
Correct.
And just keep going straight here?
Yes, straight.
Straight through a roundabout is easy.
And then right in the next roundabout.
Very nice. We're learning that in Norway, the E's mean an electric vehicle. We're going to turn right here.
Yes, right, and then into the gas station here.
And then show that we have survived. There's some charging here. We're going to come and check out. This will be our last charging stop. Shout out Mach-E. Let's look at these. All right, so one of those funny experiences as I go to pull in here to the chargers, and I go to nose in to the charging space because I'm used to the Lightning where my charge port door is on that front driver's side fender. And so as I'm pulling in, I'm like, oh, what am I doing? That's not how you pull into a charger when you're in a Zeekr, or most vehicles certainly are this way. So now that we've pulled in, this was really cool because this is one of the chargers I had yet to see in Europe. Today anyway, we did see it when we first got off the ship, but these are my good friends at Kempower. So we always have to make sure we see the Kempower chargers anytime we have them locally. So we're gonna have William walk us through these. This is different than we saw with the Alpatronic units. And this is more of the satellite system that we mentioned before, where it's a shared power. And so there are some that you saw earlier, just a handful where those that taxi cab was, but this had a lot more open space. So William, let's talk about these from Kempower.
Okay, we can start by going around here, I think, because we have the chargers themselves are actually here. Here we have the Kempower power cabinets. So these are the chargers that are distributing power. Of course, they get the power from the transformer and they distribute it out to the different satellites. So over there we have some taxis charging over there. That's the pull-through Kempower spots. But we also have a ton of satellites on the rear of this gas station, where you can charge with the Kempower units. And these are pretty great because you can, once you have started charging, you can actually pull up a QR code and you can take a look at your charging curve while you are walking around with your phone without an app, anything. You can just use card payment here, of course. So this is a great solution. And these cables, you can pull them out very, very far, and you can even bend down this one. So in my opinion, the Kempower units have some of the best cable management, but the cables they use are pretty heavy, so it's definitely needed. You can also have these in a split configuration. Usually that's not done with the Kempower units unless it's CHAdeMO here in Europe. Yeah, there is a CHAdeMO right over at the end there, because we still have Nissan Leafs in Norway, so we still need these CHAdeMO units that we can find over here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8 on the other side, which are pull-through. So here we have 2 CHAdeMO locations.
So if Kyle needs to plug in his limo Leaf,
yeah,
he's got himself covered here.
Let's ship the limo Leaf to Norway.
So I guess that will wrap it up for our tour of Norway. Not the whole country of Norway, but this little piece that we were able to roam today. I'm gonna head back to the ship because if it leaves without me, I've got to find my way all the way back to Amsterdam.
And we will drive the Zeekr down to Amsterdam.
That would be fun. Take the Zeekr to Amsterdam. Should we do that video, I think my wife might get upset with me, as much fun as that would be. So we're gonna head back to the ship. We'll wrap it up there. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Out of Spec Bits. Thanks for coming along with us. We've loved showing you a little piece of William's home country. I hope you guys have enjoyed me trying to figure it out and not get lost or anyone killed. So we'll see you on the next one.